On your mandate we shall stand. On your
Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, led chairman of the All Progressives Congress from the 36 states of the Federation on an inspection tour of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway.
We've been on the road since Wednesday, flagging off Akwanga. Job is started already there, the fourth legacy project of the president.
The visit provided the party leaders with a first-hand assessment of the pace of work and engineering features of the flagship infrastructure project, which is expected to improve connectivity along Nigeria's coastal corridor.
I believe this is a wonderful project. This is a project that will boost commerce, open our dams, improve on our agriculture, provide employment to our youth, fight hunger, and other related diseases that may come within the community. Once the road is built, it is an enabler of growth and development, of course, lead to prosperity.
The inspection also came against the backdrop of recent public concerns over flooding on parts of the highway following heavy rainfall. The minister responds to this.
We are calling the Lagos State government because we found out that the master plan of Lagos State government in terms of flooding, it's not been implemented. Because there are a number of designated points, lagoons, that this water supposed to be drained to. It has not been done. That's one. Number two, you can see amount of refuse even on our way. You can see the indiscipline of Nigerians that carry refuse to block the drainage. You see the indiscipline of Nigerians that go to build on waterways. So this country belongs to all of us, so we must have to work.
Officials say they are confident about the pace of construction as work continues across multiple sections of the highway.
The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has defended the Tinubu's administration investment in road infrastructure, saying strategic highway projects are central to government's efforts to tackle insecurity, improve military operations, and boost regional trade. Speaking at the flag-off of the Bama Banki and Dikwa Gambaru Ngala Road projects in Borno State, Umahi says improved road networks would strengthen access to border communities, enhance logistics for security agencies, and reconnect communities affected by years of insurgency. For more on road infrastructure projects across the country, we are joined live on Daybreak by the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak this morning. Mr. Dave Umahi, can you hear me? Okay, can you bring us, a lot of Nigerians are interested in the federal government's renewed infrastructural drive, especially the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Could you bring us up to speed on this project? How far have you gone? How much has been expended on this project? Could you tell Nigerians?
Thank you, Ashiru Vimbai. Thank you very much. The famous Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is on course, 750 kilometers. One aspect of this project is that many Nigerians never believed, that it was going to be possible. But the man behind the scene, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there is nothing he ever put his hands on to do that he has not achieved. So the section 1 is completed, surprisingly, 47.47 kilometer with train track provision. That's 25-meter corridor in between the two carriageway. That project is started from VI, and Ashiru, are you hearing me?
Live, clear, and
Ashiru, are you with me?
Loud and clear. You're loud and clear, Engineer Dave Umahi, Minister of Works.
Oh, okay. 47.47 kilometer completed. The bridges you see on this corridor, section 1, are the elements of infrastructure that belong to Section 2. Section 2 is 55 kilometer, from a Leko, village there, and that is the junction that, takes you to the deep sea port in Lekki, and that project is ongoing, about 60% done, and that takes you to the border between Ogun and Lagos. And so that project will be delivered by November, hopefully. And so meaning that you can drive all the way from Victoria Island, through the deep sea port and then get to the Ogun border. Now that's Section 2. Section 3A and 3B are in Akwa Ibom and Cross River. That is a total of 75 kilometers. That project is ongoing, very challenging terrain, just like what we made at various challenges in Section 1 of this Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Very marshy, swampy areas, with pits going down to over 20 meters, which must be removed. And I'm happy that we took journalists all through, the inspection during construction. And so that Section 3 and 3B is about 30% done, and that is about 28 kilometers in, Akwa Ibom, and the rest in Cross River. But that is not all. You now come and see 4A and 4B, and that is 82 kilometers by, two carriageway. That is 164 kilometers. And that is, in Ogun section and in Ondo. Out of this 82 kilometers by 2, 28 kilometers by 2 is in Ogun section, and the rest is in Ondo. That project is ongoing, and we've attained about 20%. Of that, construction. And now we just awarded, another mega section of this Lagos-Calabar Coastal, and that is in Akwa Ibom, 180 kilometers, by 2, that's 360 kilometers. And that project is ongoing, just awarded about a month ago. So we are totally on course. Section not yet procured will be the 100 kilometer from Ondo to going to Edo State. That Edo section is 100 kilometer, and then from Edo you get to Delta. That is not procured. Then Delta you get to a small section in Bayelsa, and from Bayelsa you get to Rivers. These are the the sections not yet procured, and meaning that we are on course. And I think that over 70% of this corridor is being procured. That is, what I can tell you.
Okay.
And so this is a dream of one man about 27, 28 years back, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You may want to ask, the importance of, this, project, specifically, about the four legacy
Before you go into the
Mr.
importance, Honorable Minister, if you allow me to come in at this point, as you're talking about the importance, I think especially those of us who reside in Lagos have certainly felt the ease that the stretch that has been completed has brought to the Lekki corridor. However, as the rains came in and the floods came in, the coastal road is back in the headlines, and you've gone to great lengths to dismiss the allegations that this coastal highway is the cause of the excessive level of flooding that we've seen in Lagos this year. However, people are saying that we're yet to see the EIA, the Environmental Impact Assessment. When is this going to be published so that we can all observe, we can all go through it and see what the EIA says about the Coastal Express?
Pemba, thank you very much. It's in this country that, in the name of content creator, that everybody becomes engineer, become financial expert. I don't know whether you're hearing me.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, sir. You said we become engineers and content creators. I can hear you, sir.
Yes, we've been, Arise should have in their possession everything about this route as far as ESIA is concerned. We, even last time that, our sister Ojokwe was, anchoring, what is trending, we also uploaded the ESIA. Now, to the issue of flooding. We came to Lagos in the past 3 days on the order of Mr. President to look at the flooding, not just along the residents of the Coastal Highway, but also to look at other issues, pertaining to flooding, along, the federal government bridges and, roads in Lagos State. And so the National Assembly Works Committees, came with us. The Ministry of Environment came with us. Lagos State government official came with us. And we went through the corridor with press people. One thing is very certain. When you look at the corridor before the construction, you will see flooding. You see flooding. And so when people darken counsel without knowledge and say, look, the coastal highway is causing flooding, it's laughable, because let's take the history of the flooding in VI, far back when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was governor. And you now find out that the VI, I was a young engineer then working in Lekki, and in most time, within the peak of rains, nobody would go to work. The VI was almost submerged, and it took the audacity of one man, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, working with high tech to arrest the situation. So was there coastal highway that time? So flooding almost took VI. Now, what is happening with the coastal highway is that before the coastal highway, the ocean, when it surges, would throw water to the residences, especially in the northern part of the coastal highway. But with the level of the coastal highway through ESIA and very diligent design, we've been able to raise the coastal highway to be at a, mitigated, level that within the next 30 years, no matter the level of, climate change, it will not come to the level of the road. So it has nothing to do with that. But there are a lot of factors, concerning the flooding, in Lagos and within this corridor.
Okay. Honorable Minister, if I may,
with the government.
Apologies, if I may, I'm just going through. Can you hear me, sir? So sorry, while you're on this, so that we can address everything at once, because page 13, I've got a copy of the ESIA, and page 13 specifically says that the coastal road would cause a degree of flooding. So I'd like you to just address that in context, because there is reference to the fact that there's a risk of flooding given the design of the coastal highway.
Yeah, the ESI never said that,
So on ES4, the principal adverse environmental and social impacts, speaks of alteration of coastal morphology and increased flood risk, land reclamation, and so forth. So if we can just put that in context, sir.
Very simple. They look at the corridor before the construction of the coastal highway. A lot of the buildings, a lot of the surrounding residential areas were constructed below the flood level. And so because they were constructed below the flood level, there is no way they won't be flooded. But what has Coastal Highway done to address that? The Coastal Highway, you see multiple of culverts. And when you come within this corridor, you see about 10 different, evacuation corridor. The law of Lagos State is that you cannot drain the surroundings. You cannot drain the coastal highway to the ocean. And it's impossible to drain, the surroundings to the ocean. And so what the coastal highway has done, two things. One, it has prevented the water from the ocean going from the southern part of the coastal highway to the northern part of the coastal highway vis-a-vis the residential areas. But to address the lowland, within the southern part of it, we have introduced multiple culverts. In fact, you have culverts at about every 50 meters, going through from the southern part to the northern side, where you have a number of evacuation corridor. And so the design of evacuation of flood in Lagos State is that you will drain the surroundings to the lagoon. Then the lagoon will flow to the ocean, by reason of high differences. So what we have done is that we have multiple covers, going from the southern part of the coastal highway to the northern part of the coastal highway, and then being evacuated through this channel that we are going into the lagoon. But what is happening is that there is very high level of unpatriotic tendencies among the residents. There is so much, sabotage. People are blocking the manholes. People are blocking the culverts. People are dumping refuse. And so you cannot eat your cake and have it back. So it is up to the residents to understand that you are building on the water channels, you are blocking the manhole, you are dumping refuse, inside the manhole, you are blocking the covers that we built. It's a very beautiful design. ESIA addressed everything, and let me say it here. The Ministry of Environment was resolved yesterday. There were so many, procedures before you can obtain ESI certificate, and the final certificate will come at the end of the construction, which is being processed now. Why? Because all issues would have been addressed before the final certificates issued. But don't forget that this ESIA was also, subjected to international scrutiny, and that engagement held here in Lagos, and it was, adjoined the best. So the coastal highway is rather addressing, flooding within this corridor. It's not causing anything. And we were with the governor of Lagos State yesterday, and I want to quote what he said. He said, listen, there was flooding before the coastal highway. There will be flooding tomorrow. There will be flooding next tomorrow, because the Lagos is a low-lying, terrain, and there is no way there won't be flooding. But it's up to, federal government, the Lagos State government, and the residents, to understand. It's just like overseas, you have periodical, environmental degradation, the hurricane, all kinds of. So you can't stop nature from performing. But there must be mitigating, factors that we help, to cushion the effect. So let the residents stop blocking the culverts, stop dumping refuse inside the manhole chambers, stop building on waterways, and then constant desilting of this.
If you can hear me, Engineer Dave Umahi, I think we've expended some time on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project. Now, I think it's time for you to help us open your books for the public to see, because it's also the midterm assessment. This is July. Your capital expenditure for 2026 is about 4.23 trillion naira, and that's designated for about 50 major road projects. How far have you gone in this?
Well, Ashiru, that's why I don't like to appear. It's difficult to unfold what the president is doing vis-a-vis, road infrastructure within 30 minutes. But let me start with the 4 legacy projects of the president. These projects are not just road projects. They are investment-driven projects. For example, the Section 1, 47.47 kilometer, is completed. And there are a lot of concessionaires that are asking, please give us this, corridor to pay you back 100% and then tow the corridor. But we are in that process. So when we say that it's beyond creating jobs, it's beyond, increasing commerce, and it is a catalyst for the Lagos people. Vimba, I know that you would have followed that route, sometimes, the same thing with Ashiru. So the Nigerians are very excited about this route. It's only those who didn't believe that it will work, out of envy and jealous, are still talking about coastal highway. If you talk about ESIA, you talk about flooding, and I call it, envy and jealous of the achievements of this man. So that is, so it's investment driven. It's creating jobs. When you talk about there is hunger in the land, everybody ought to work. This legacy projects, creating over, 100,000 jobs. Go to all the sites. You see those selling corn, those selling akara, those selling chipping, those selling sand, those selling rods, they are all local content. And so it also helped in the stabilization of the naira, because we have, we said, listen, the roads built on bitumen in the past administration, didn't last. So the president brought this, reinforced concrete pavement. And so these are the projects. So the Lagos-Calabar Coastal that I mentioned are there. Then you come to the Sokoto Badagry, 1,068 kilometers. The Sokoto section is 120 kilometers by 6 lane. That project, surprisingly, and to the glory of God, is about 60% done. Unbelievable, despite all the security challenges, And then you have the Kebbi section, which is 258 kilometers by 2. And that project is about 30% done.
Okay,
And then the president has this, fair attitude in distribution of infrastructure.
I think, perhaps we would say on the road project, you appears to be one of the poster officials of this administration. But let's look at politics. Why should Nigeria vote for President Tinubu? Because many of these reforms have not been able to put food on the table of many Nigerians, with the result from the World Bank saying about 140 million Nigerians are still living below poverty line. Are you worried that in spite of your vast reforms, that this has not been able to change the poverty level in the country? Rather, the country has deepened into a worse poverty state.
Yeah, the darkest part of the night, is the dawn. You see, Shiru, you cannot be drinking 10 bottles of champagne every day, and you believe that at the long run that you will not have some health challenges. That is what has happened to the economy of this country. There were so many practices by the previous administration that occasioned us into what the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inherited. And so there is nobody that would think that the practices of the past administration of this country. There was a time we had so much funds, and the Nigerian government declared that they didn't know what to do with this, so they staged Festac celebration, and they built some very little housing estates. That's the time we should have addressed our infrastructure. Today, infrastructure is taking a center stage, and it's a catalyst for the development of other sectors in the country. So you have to ask yourself, those who are crying of hunger, put all the indices on the table. Is it road infrastructure? Is it in education? Is it in health? Which one has gone worse than how the president inherited it? And so when you are healing a wound, you don't expand the wound like an economy. Within 3 years, Nigerians expected that all the wrongs of over 60 years would be addressed in 3 years. So let people be fair, not because they want power. None of the people, the aspirants, or the candidates of other political parties, can they do what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing? And there are a lot of successes. There are a lot of reforms that are beginning to yield a lot of dividends. And when people in the name of politics continue to darken council without knowledge, continue to degrade the country that they want to lead, and they continue to display AI kind of politics, yes. All kind of cons, because to deceive Nigerians. Okay. So I wonder, none of them can do what this man is doing.
Honorable Minister, if I may come in at this point, so sorry to interrupt you. Critics and analysts, and especially the opposition, are saying, well, if this is the case, then why does it seem that President Tinubu and the APC are scared of a man called Peter Obi? So scared to the point that they are following him from party to party as he moves. And I asked this specific question because, I've seen some of your statements when you were in the Southeast, and some of the comments around debating Peter Obi and so forth. But all in all, it seems as though APC is scared of Peter Obi. What do you say to those who are putting this narrative forward?
Vimba, even me cannot be scared of Peter Obi, not to talk about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu or our party APC. What displays around Peter Obi is AI politics. It's AI politics. It is putting something on nothing. So nobody is scared about P2B. I read where it was said that P2B said, oh, Tinubu should resign because of this. And I asked myself, how many times did P2B resign as governor of Anambra State? Failure to fix the road, failure to establish industry, failure to, empower people, failure to establish airport, failure to establish seaport, failure to pay contractors. And I read where it was said that, oh, the education they said P2B had exploited, was through these miracle centers. And I was also told, that when Obiano, the governor, came on board, number one, he addressed the payment of contractors. And he said the money you put in the bank, was not money because you didn't pay contractors. And it was, money that is put with, particular interest, as it was alleged, And that Jam said to Obiano, if you don't close these miracle centers, we are going to, exclude you from the Jam by this thing. Is it governance? That is not governance, So when you deceive the people, when you say to the poor, oh, I'm at your level, and then they are deceived and they are clapping for you, it doesn't make you popular. So it's, I think, and look at the pattern of politics around my brother P2B. You disagree with him, then he takes you to court. How many times have you been abusing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? How many has he taken to court? So it means that you don't even have the good temperament. Look at the obedient movement. You disagree. They insult people. They wish people dead, threats and all kinds of things. Is that the kind of this? So nobody is afraid of P2B. We demonstrate it. We just had an election in Enugu State. A senatorial by-election. How did P2B perform in that election? And that is showing that our people are beginning to be very strategic and very understanding. If Southeast would be understanding, how much more other geopolitical zone? So I can assure you that nobody is afraid of P2B. And I've said to the obedient movement, any of them can debate with me in terms of the infrastructural development of the country and all the good indices of the reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. No one, don't ever say that. P2B is not a threat to our president because P2B himself, he knows very well that he cannot even face me. Talk more of facing, the president.
That's gotten loud and clear, Honorable Minister. Unfortunately, this is where we can draw we have to draw the curtain on this conversation. But we need to extract the promise from you because we know that there's a lot of questions that have been unanswered in this conversation. That when next we invite you, you would honor us. Can we get that extraction from you, extraction of promise from you in the interest of Nigerians? That would love to hear from you.
I can't, tell about the good works of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 30 minutes. Not even in 1 hour. So next time you invite me, at least give me 1 hour.
We will give you 45 minutes.
Let Nigerians
know
you 45 all minutes. The good things
okay,
the president
we have to wrap it up here, and that's all we have time for here.